Hi everyone, this is Michael Cantu with Accelerate. I've got the Microsoft Azure background that I actually pulled up because today we're going to talk about enterprise security standard for Accelerate within the Microsoft Azure cloud platform. So for most people, if you are out there and you're evaluating whether you utilize services that already exist, or if you're thinking through do I create my own authentication, authorization, security mechanisms, and all of that, my suggestion would be that you take a look at what Microsoft Azure already has to be able to build your applications around from an identity provider perspective, from Active Directory, takes care of a lot of the headaches. So when we were going through building Accelerate, what we said is number one thing, people have to be able to trust the platform. So what does that mean? It means a great level of uptime. It means authentication. It means authorization, that people are only accessing the things that they should be accessing. Security is made easy from an administration and IT support perspective, and also that you can get that geo redundancy, whether people are working in certain locations, and the ability to sort of bump up the compute power as you need for your particular type of instances. So I want to go ahead and pull up this quote that we found by Satya Nadella, and this is very true. If you guys don't know him, he is the CEO of Microsoft, where he says that businesses and users are going to embrace technology only if they can trust it. So here at Accelerate, we take security very seriously. So when determining what security mechanisms to use, we turn to Microsoft. It's one of those decisions that doesn't really need to be made. If you have Microsoft or have started to use Azure, you know over the last 8 to 10 years, at the very beginning, it was not as accepted as a platform, but now today it is commonplace. The security mechanisms that they have there, and also the different certifications that they have. They now have FedRAMP for federal type programs, hosted cloud. They've got HIPAA high tech type of utilizations for healthcare. There's actually an entire list if you go out to Azure where you can check it out, and you can see all of these different types of certifications and qualifications that they have in order to run your services. So what we said is, as everybody is moving to the cloud, regardless of what cloud that is, we can provide a safe environment. We can also provide an environment that is that can access other resources that are available that you may have in resource groups. We can isolate resources, and we can provide the types of security that you're looking for your own security plan within your organization, as those vary per company. So I want to go ahead and talk about Microsoft multi-factor authentication assurance. This is something that we utilize within the application. From my perspective, even as a company, we ensure that everybody has multi-factor authentication turned on. What I mean by multi-factor authentication is I'm actually holding up a phone. It can be either an authenticator application, or it can be a text message that comes to you. So essentially it says, "Hi, my name's Michael." I go in, I put my password in, I confirm that I say I am who I am, and then it's going to send me a text on file, so that you make sure that the person that's getting access to the system has been checked twice, and that it's not just somebody who bought some passwords off the black market and attempt to log into your company. So you make sure that your data and all of that is secure. Every access attempt is verified within Accelerate. It all runs through the Azure Active Directory framework that is out there, application registrations, and we can talk with you about that later. If we are hosting it completely as a SaaS, then there is no issue. We set it up the most secure as possible. If you are wanting it from a PaaS perspective, or you're wanting to just integrate it in your own environment, we can also do that and provide the updates, and we'll talk with you about how to do that as well. So if you are an organization that does not have multi-factor, I know it's a pain for some people. They think an additional 10 seconds to enter a code in their phone is not worth it. But I will tell you, if you own a company, it is going to be one of the most worthwhile things that you do today. So we want to talk about complete authorization coverage. With Accelerate, you do get complete authorization coverage. What that means is we have the authentication that we were just talking about. So the user Sam identified by Sam at myco.com, and a password, so Michael, mcan2 at accelerate.app and a password. And then they're also going to get a text message or authenticator item to be able to enter on the screen to make sure they are who they say they are. So authentication is the first pathway in. Authorization is what should happen next. So let's say I log in. What am I authorized to view? That includes reports, it includes work items, it includes tasks, it includes individual data fields. So within Accelerate, we realize that people are going to have different needs. You may create workflow applications within your environments that need to have specific fields that are only available to particular people. You may have reports that are only available to certain people. And what we thought about during all of this is, I know from an IT perspective, if you've ever built a system, the way that you do identity governance can be a problem, but also how you do the authorization piece can be a mess, right? You want to be able to set up a security model, add and remove people from groups, and automatically that be able to dictate what they see or what they don't see, what actions that they can perform and what they can't perform. All of that has been thought through within Accelerate as well. So as you begin to think about rapidly deploying workflow applications, making that digital change within your company, you can go ahead and do that without a problem. And we're going to issue a token. The system's going to take care of everything, and it also does an Azure sync with your Active Directory. So any changes that are performed in your Active Directory also get changed within Accelerate. Anything that gets changed within Accelerate also will get moved back down. It's really interesting. We also have a setting where you don't have to check it off for the migration back, so that it's only a unidirectional if you want from a security perspective. We require the authorization after completing authentication. All access requests, regardless of what they are, documents all require these particular types of things, be access to dashboards and all of that. So we make the IT support of this solution very minimal for you to get moving. So we're going to go ahead and hop into IaaS security here real quick. We have got the infrastructure. We are utilizing Azure infrastructure as a service security. So we've got Azure Diagnostics running. We've got the telemetry data that's coming back through. And then it's pretty much a unified package that gets monitored and data gets classified. So managing database vulnerabilities and all of that, detecting anomalous activities is all done through utilizing the IaaS security that's there. We also have some other things that are getting monitored as well, so that we make sure that any data, whether it's in transit or at rest, and we have security protocols for both of those, are completed as well. So what does your data look like at rest? Is it encrypted? What does your data look like in transit? What's the encryption mechanisms around that? And then also during use and in transit on that side. You can also bring your own cloud configuration with Accelerate. So regardless of what type of infrastructure you have, if you already have Azure, we can have it automatically provisioned to your own Azure infrastructure so that you can keep that under your own cloud configurations. The reason why this is important, I feel the differentiator between a workflow product and a new digital type of transformation type engine really comes down to, can you place it within your own environment? Can it be accessible and secure within your own security protocols? Every business has a different level of maturity from a security protocol perspective and what they're looking to achieve. So for us right now, we have given you the ability to be able to bring your own cloud configuration. That can be in Azure, could also be in AWS, even though this is a Azure conversation where this software can be installed. So we allow you to bring and scale your own infrastructure if you want to your own individual security needs, or use our pre-configurations, and we talk you through that as we go and do setup. Monitoring and security assurance. So we are proactively monitoring all activity within the cloud, right? Ensuring privacy, compliance, and that systems function stably and threats are mitigated in real time. A lot of things within Azure, you can do the monitoring and security it very simply, right? You can infer things that are potentially about to happen. You can use AI and ML to be able to look at that security and be able to proactively, send you messages, notifications, stuff like that. And so inference engines, they are pretty good. They're getting better all the time. And so from a security perspective, those are things to look at. If you are bringing your own cloud, I would suggest that you take a look at these too, because these are going to be some things that can definitely help you. If you have some questions about how you can utilize some of the different Azure framework items, please let us know. We have built this a lot around Azure. You can also consume different Azure services. So if you built your app services, if you built your cognitive services, if you've built different types of services already, and you want to integrate them within an automation type platform, we can pull those in very quickly. Blob storage is also a storage mechanism that we utilize as well to be able to store documents with non-publicly accessible containers that are out there that have high security standards. So that's another area that you want to look at. And these are things that you should be asking your SaaS providers, right? We're not just talking about this because this is what we believe. We're talking about this because it's what we know. If you're not out there proactively monitoring your stuff and you're getting together with SaaS providers that you're not sure what their level of maturity is from a security perspective, you're going to be looking at potentially some problems, but you don't want that. Secure work across boundaries. So Accelerate, you can be pretty much anywhere in the globe where there is access to internet and access anything. With that, we had to think through, how do we audit systems? How can we bring up audit logs of who accessed what and when? What did they access? What did they change? What different stage did they move a process through? And also, secure work across boundaries. Today, we're living in a global world where work might start here and get kicked off, and then it needs to be moved over to India, it needs to be moved to South America, it needs to be moved to Canada, it needs to be moved to Asia, it needs to be moved to the Pacific area. Those are all sorts of things that we've taken into account when thinking about this application, right? And this is probably more information than most people would think about, but when we really started putting this together and started thinking through the potential use cases, is we are assembly lining work, everything that you need to complete a particular piece of work, and that is getting sent to particular people on your different types of teams. And these could be third-party business units that you're utilizing to fulfill a portion of your business as well. And that's where we had to think about, what are the security protocols for not just this business, but the fulfilling business. And something we don't talk about, I don't think we've ever talked about, but you can network instances of Accelerate together. Why would you want to do that? Well, in your business, you may have one entire security model that you want to establish, control everything in the environment, and you may have another business that's actually fulfilling some of the work. So we're allowing you to be able to create separate instances, and we're not just talking about instances from a server perspective, but actually separate Accelerate identities and allow you to distribute those. So infrastructure and platform uptime, SLA. So there's a 99.95 infrastructure uptime. Platform uptime is 99.91. We have an auto rollback that will roll back your platform automatically to make sure that you're still going on the most confident bits possible. So we can talk about this, and then we can also talk about service level agreement management a little bit further, depending upon your governing needs. So I hope you had a great day today, and I will talk with you soon. If you have some questions, go ahead and reach out to our phone number here, 337-447-2079, or reach out to support@accelerate.app. We'd love to chat with you. If you have some questions about how to use Azure services and cognitive items and any of the stuff that's provided there, whether it's identity or whether it's multi-factor items, specific containers, resource groups, we can talk you through that too. We are about helping organizations grow. So thank you for joining us today. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.